Hey guys, I'm back again with another video here to review the latest episode, last week's episode of The Last of Us. I was supposed to put this out days ago, but I kept putting it off and putting it off. But um we picked up the last episode, saw the demise of Henry and Sam. So sad, so tragic. And this episode is specifically about Joel and his mental health and what he's going through. And I think this show so far has done a spectacular job at portraying, depression, PTSD, how people how people deal with their mental health and what people should do when they're going through depression and stuff like that, and anxiety, and the you know uh, Joel and Elle are still looking for Joel's brother, um um Tommy. Yes, Tommy. They run into an older couple up in the mountains, and there's this river of death that they have to cross to get to Tommy. And that's when we first see Joel having his his when he figures out that's when it's kind of alluded to that Tommy might be dead, especially when the older couple that they run into mention the river of death, and if he crossed that river he might be dead. Then that's when we first see Joel's problems with, at first it seems like heart problems, but it's actually anxiety. What actually a panic attack, and panic and anxiety attack are two different things. They actually reminded me of Tony's problems with Tony's problems in Iron Man 3. That's what this episode kind of reminded me of. And Joel's not the type of person to express his feelings or the troubles he's going through. But this episode, we saw him be very emotional and very open about his feelings, or about his emotional struggles towards his brother Tommy, who we finally find out is alive. And he almost has three panic attacks in this episode. And the first one is when he finds out that might when he figures out that Tommy might be dead. The second one is when these people this from this I wouldn't call them raiders, but when they're interrogated by these people and they think that him or Ellie might be infected. That's the second time he almost has one, and the third one is when he thinks that he sees his daughter alive. and and this and I think that the most important thing here is that Joel not only feels that the more he feels like he gets closer to people, the more people die, which is why he does not want to do which is why he's scared to get attached to Ellie, which he kind of already has softened up to her a little bit. But when she finds out that he doesn't want to be in charge of her anymore, or help her get to the Fireflies anymore, that's when we get this very heart wrenching scene that we see in the game, which is when she tells him that she's nothing like his daughter. And I think that was possibly the worst way to go about it. Sometimes when you're upset, you can say something to someone that's personal to them to hurt them because you're hurt. And while they didn't talk about this when Joel finally decides to, take her and they continue their adventure together, towards the end of the episode, Joel is near death after getting stabbed in the chest with a piece of wood after fighting the guy off. And some of the stuff actually reminded me of the video game of how Joel just was choking the guy out and then just freaking snapped his neck. And some people were kind of preferred how Joel almost went out in the first game. I can't remember exactly. He fell through something that went through his chest. Some people preferred that over how they did it in this episode, but I prefer this one, how they did it in the game, because realistically, in the game, he would have been dead. And it doesn't make any sense how he was just up and still perfectly fine after just a matter of months after having a piece of like plywood. I can't remember what it was, being stabbed through his chest. I thought this was a really good episode at portraying Joel's anxiety and the mental health problems that he's going through, while also creating a bond, uh, um, getting to see Ellie and Joel bond more, while also seeing them also trying to see Joel not get attached to her so much because she reminds him so much of his daughter. And the sneak peek for the next episode, which I can't wait for, which is actually a DLC of the first video game. If you guys haven't played the video game, is a DLC, and I can't wait to see what happens next in the next episode tonight. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.